What's up, guys? Welcome to the 49ers versus Texans post-game show. Today I'm joined by a very special guest. I've been on this guy's channel before, a bunch of times. You've seen him on my channel before, but he's back once again. A very special guest, young genius in my opinion, young Niner content creator, young NFL content creator, a very smart mind, Benjamin Kamperman. How you doing tonight, Ben?
By the way, thank you. I mean, you're one of the smartest football people I've ever met, too. So thank you for a lot. It's good to be on. I mean, the 49ers, a big win. I mean, that was up and down at times, but very encouraging. I would say Trey Lance, we're gonna get to him later, but a lot of encouraging things to see from him. And going into the future. The future is bright in San Francisco after this win. So yeah, doing good. And very excited to get ready and dive into this show. So,
Yeah, well, let's jump right into it. Starting off with, we obviously know what we're going to talk about. You see the jersey right here. You see the
yeah,
jersey.
I
We're going to
preview.
talk
Yeah.
about Trey Lance. So let's talk about Trey Lance. What were your thoughts on Trey Lance's overall performance? Did you think he played well? Did you think he played bad? What's your overall thoughts and takeaways from Trey Lance's performance today?
Well, I mean, considering all the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL, this guy was very electric for his first start, I think. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, one of the leading interception he leading the league in interceptions almost. Zach Wilson, all of these teams don't have as much talent, but he was just making right decisions. There was so many wow throws in this game where I think it was the 30-yard play to Brandon Ayuk where he just fit it right in the window. And if that was Jimmy Garoppolo, he threw it so fast that he was able to get in that tight window. But if that was Jimmy Garoppolo in that situation, it would have been a pick because his ball, the way he throws the ball isn't fast. And so that was very encouraging. Fitting it in tight windows, he was accurate. And like I said earlier on today, I've seen a lot more touch from him earlier on in the year when he made his first start Arizona Cardinals. He was missing guys. He was doing all of that. And this time, he had a lot more touch, a lot more accuracy. He was a lot more composed. Um, Earlier on in the game, he definitely had his jitters. He was a little jittery. You could see that he had a hard time settling down. But then second half or the last drive of the second quarter was amazing. And so glimpses of the future, this is gonna be encouraging. It would have sucked for 49 for us to draft a dud, but I'm glad this guy's not a dud and that the future is bright. And I mean, first half we want to hate on him so much, but at the end of the day, he was 10 for 13 in the first half. And then they started to trust him more in the second half. And look what he did. He blew up, absolutely amazing. And the other encouraging thing is Kyle Shanahan didn't run him as much, only 8 carries. So those were all the things I saw, just accuracy, touch, everything you want to see. And he's definitely improved.
Yeah, you definitely saw a lot of improvement, especially from his first start in Arizona to now. There's a major improvement. Now, obviously, if we're comparing the game to Jimmy Garoppolo, comparing Lance to Jimmy Garoppolo, now, one thing I will say, Lance does get the ball out a lot slower than Jimmy Garoppolo does. And even the announcers are saying that Jimmy Garoppolo gets the ball out pretty fast. But at the same time, if you look at some of the stuff that Lance did, like throwing off his back foot, throwing on the
Right.
run, throwing in tight windows,
Yeah.
those are type of things that Jimmy Garoppolo just simply can't do. And we saw Trey Lance could do those things like that. Throw to Trent Sherfield. Obviously, it wasn't a first down, but just putting it in there. That was a great catch by, I think it was Trent Sherfield. I forgot who it was. Great catch. But at the same time, some of the stuff that Trey Lance did definitely impressed me. Even the long ball to Deebo Samuel, right?
Yeah, that was amazing.
That, as much as people are like, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo can do that, Jimmy Garoppolo, he really can't. Trey Lance did that.
Yeah, exactly.
Trey Lance hit that. I mean, obviously it was a great throw by Trey Lance, and Deebo obviously broke the tackle. But at the same time, now the one play that people do bring up, especially about today's game, was that interception. And the
Yeah.
play was supposed to go to Kittle. The play was intended to hit Kittle up. He just underthrew it a little bit. Now, obviously, people saw Deebo wide
He
open.
forced it into triple coverage. That was
He forced it. He forced it. I mean, if he
yeah.
if he threw it right in there, that would have been fine. But at the same time, he just underthrew it. I would say, in my opinion. But people bring up, oh, he saw Debo on the backside, he couldn't hit up Debo. I mean, that's just rookie stuff, right? Like, you got to expect that from
Yeah.
Trey Lance. And, like, when people are saying, oh, Trey Lance didn't play that well in the first half, like, you just got to expect those things from Trey Lance. Because Trey Lance, like, people bring it up all the time. Like, Trey Lance, this is his, like, second game, obviously, in the NFL. But at the same time, he hasn't played football. He didn't play football in all of 2020. Because, obviously, his college
Right.
season got canceled. So he hasn't played a game of football, an actual football game, in almost a year. A year and a half almost. So, like, if you look at what Trey Lance did, especially in his second start, I was definitely happy with it. Now, obviously, they started off slow, and that play to Debo Samuel, people call that out, but you just got to expect that from Trey Lance, especially since it's
Yeah.
his second start in the NFL. You just got to expect that. And we saw it last week, not to bring it up, but we saw last week, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo saw
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk. What happened? He completely overthrew Kyle Juszczyk. Now,
Yeah.
definitely were there ups and a lot of downs. There was lots of downs and ups to this game from Trey Lance, but he bounced back after the interception.
And at the end of the day, some of those downs I kind of blame on Kyle at the beginning because they were basically running the ball. Like they didn't open
Yep.
it up. They weren't trusting him in the first half. So like some of those downs weren't even like really his fault to say. Like they only passed it 6 times until that last drive. Like that's not okay. And then with the Debo Samuel, like that deep throw, I have never seen Jimmy Garoppolo make that accurate of a throw in his whole tenure. And you even saw, like, I think somebody posted in the Discord, Grant Cohn's Discord chat, and I saved the picture. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo, all of his passes, it was like a pass chart of, like, Jimmy Garoppolo's game against the Titans. All of the throws for Jimmy Garoppolo, all of the throws were condensed in the middle. For Trey Lance, like, there was, like, 5 throws in the middle. Most of them were, like, outside along the sideline. So, it
Mm-hmm.
was so encouraging to see. It was a lot more spread out, the offense, and that was so encouraging. Um, but, yeah, there's gonna be mistakes, but there was so many throws real quick before I end here. There was so many throws that he made over the middle that Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't have made because the guys were just too covered up. He wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
fit it in that tight window. So that's the difference between him and Jimmy Garoppolo. Just the fastball. If you can put some touch on that fastball, it will help you tremendously.
Yep. And I get it, he started out slow in the first half, but at the same time, like, the only reason I wasn't as disappointed in his first half, obviously with the interception, but at the same time, he just underthrew his receiver a little bit. I mean, I get it, it happens, but at the same time, it was definitely a mistake, and he missed Debo's handle. But one
Yeah,
thing that I was sad, the only reason I wasn't that upset about the first half is because obviously you got to expect the second start, but at the same time, it's like
yeah,
he was pretty efficient throwing the football. He was like what 7 for 6. I forgot what the exact stat was. You said he was 10 for 13.
yeah.
Obviously, in the
In the
last
first
drive,
half,
yeah, he was 10 for 13. Obviously, outside the interception, he was pretty efficient throwing the football. It wasn't like he was completing only like 50% of passes. No, he was pretty efficient throwing the football. And I wasn't that upset outside the interception. If he just didn't have the interception in the first half, now obviously we weren't able to put up as many points. But did Trey Lance be risky with the football? Did he throw interceptions? Did he fumble the football? Did he take sacks? No. So obviously he didn't take those risks like Jimmy Garoppolo sometimes does. But at the same time, I was satisfied with his first half because at least
yeah,
for me personally, I was satisfied with his first half because outside the interception, he was pretty efficient throwing the football, and
yeah,
he wasn't putting the football in tough situations and tough spots. He wasn't forcing throws and double coverages and stuff like that outside the interception. So I was pretty satisfied with this first half. And the second half, obviously, he pretty much popped off.
yeah.
I was pretty excited when he had that third rushing touchdown. I was like, okay, yesterday on
And
Twitter,
well, go ahead,
yes,
go ahead, go ahead, go
yesterday
ahead.
on Twitter, I put out Trey Lance was gonna have like something. I said he was gonna throw 17 of 25,
Yeah.
have 195 yards throwing, and have 3 touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns, whatever they might be. I thought I had my 3 total touchdowns in the bag, and I was like, oh, 3 touchdowns. My prediction came true. And then they got called back, and I was like, oh, dang it.
Yeah. And the thing is he kept his composure through the game. Like he was a lot more confident. Cardinals game, instead of keeping his eyes downfield, he would just tuck and run when he gets under pressure. This time, spins away, makes a few really nice throws. One to Brandon Ayuk on the sideline, one to Trent Sherfield on the sideline, and his yards per attempt were 11.5. Now, some of that was mirrored over by the big Debo Samuel play, but I can't really praise him enough. I mean, this man was really good for his first start. Now, since the Texans, people want to hate on them, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put too much stock into this win. I want to see what he does if he starts
Yep.
next week against the Rams,
Yep.
and I think he will. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't thrown a
Mm-hmm.
ball for all this week. I think he will, but I really want to. And I mean, next week we can talk about the playoff picture later on. I mean, that is
Mm-hmm.
huge. We're gonna have to win next week. Basically, we still control our own destiny. So he's gonna have to show up under the big lights. But I think he can. I think he's a composed guy, and he showed it today. Even though it was only against the Texans, but we'll wait to see what he does next week. And I mean, we can preview the Rams 49ers game. So continue what you were gonna say, but we'll do that later, I guess.
Yep.
I have some things to say on that. Yeah.
You brought up a perfect point about the Texans. Now, people don't obviously want to give credit to the Texans. They're like, oh, Trey Lance beat Davis Mills, who's the backup for the Texans, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, like, this game, obviously, Trey Lance, he definitely had some good things. He had some bad things, right? Obviously, we
Yeah.
expect that from a rookie. He had his rookie mistakes. But overall, I was personally satisfied. I think he did pretty good for a second start. Now, did he amaze me? Did he have, like, a Mahomes type game or, like, a Brady
No.
type game? No. But did he play good enough for us to win? Yes. Were there ups? Were they down? Were there downs? Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was personally satisfied, and I was happy the way he bounced back, especially after that slow first half. He bounced back in the second half, and like after that interception, right? Obviously, this is something that not a lot of fans are talking about. He threw that interception. He came back and he led the team for a to get a field goal, right? Like
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo, he throws an interception. He's laughing on the sideline, or he's
Yeah.
laughing it off. He really doesn't care. Where with Trey Lance, like he didn't let that lose his confidence. He didn't let that make him lose his
Yeah.
confidence. He bounced back and he took the football down the field. So
Yeah.
for me personally, I was satisfied with his performance today, but the real test comes next week. The real
Yeah.
test for me personally comes next week because we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo be able to beat the Rams, and Kyle Shanahan has owned McVay's number for the last couple of seasons, last two
Yeah.
seasons in particular. He's owned McVay's number, and he's had McVay's number. So the real test for me comes with Trey Lance's Rams prime time, not necessarily prime time, but
Yeah.
like the spotlight is on. You're gonna have to play against a ferocious Rams team. Obviously, Matthew Stafford is struggling, but at the same
Yeah.
time, next week is the real test for me and the real challenge for me to see how good Trey Lance actually is.
Yeah.
Because how well can he do against a good Rams team?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point. And what did I tell you? As soon as Trey Lance gets in the lineup, I was saying this earlier on in the season, like Trey Lance will no, sorry, Brandon Ayuk. Sorry, I'm talking about Brandon Ayuk. As soon as Trey Lance gets in the lineup, Brandon Ayuk, what did I tell you, is going to have more opportunities than Deebo Samuel because Trey Lance likes the sideline stuff. And Deebo Samuel, don't get me wrong, had a good game too. But I mean, the whole chemistry with Trey Lance and Brandon Ayuk was unbreakable. It was
Yep.
amazing. Uh,
Yep.
we will get that. Wait, yeah, that comment is an interesting one. From
Yep. I definitely want to bring up that comment about the JT Daniels, but Iron Zeus says, what would your thoughts be if we had drafted in JT Daniels and Aiden Hutchinson already for 2022 season?
So wait. So you're meaning like this if we draft them this year?
Yeah, I think that's what the question
No.
says.
Aiden Hutchinson's gonna go like 1 or 2 overall.
Yeah.
So there's no really way. And then JT Daniels is the guy from Oregon, right?
Isn't JT Daniels the dude from Georgia who's sitting behind Sensen Bennett? I think, right?
Oh, yeah, right. As a backup quarterback. Yeah, he would like be a backup. I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't think we would do that. And Aiden Hutchinson is way too high. Like we would,
Aiden,
yeah.
JT Daniels, I don't even think he declared for the draft. And then Aiden Hutchinson, some people have him going number 1.
Best defensive end. Yeah.
Yeah, like some people have him going number 1 over that dude from Oregon,
Oregon.
Kayvon, whatever his last name is. But like, some people have him going number 1 because there aren't that many quarterbacks. And obviously, there's Matt Corral and there's Kenny Pickett. But at the same time, none of the guys, like none of the teams like in the first top 3 picks or top 5 picks really need a quarterback. Like you look at Detroit, they're fine with Goff. They're not moving off from Goff, but there's not really a quarterback in this draft that I would say that you would draft with the first or second overall pick. So this year is gonna be guys like the
It's gonna
defense
be a
end from
defensive
Oregon.
draft. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much a defensive draft, like Aiden Hutchinson,
Corners are
Kayvon
strong.
Thibodeau,
Yep.
I think his name is. So like this draft is a lot of defensive players, and I don't think we're gonna get a quarterback off the board until maybe like the seventh pass pick after the seventh pick. And after, I think we'll get some quarterbacks, but I don't think we're gonna get a quarterback in the first 7 picks, within the first 7 picks. But I don't.
Yeah.
I would think about the Niners getting Aiden Hutchinson. I just don't think they would be able to because he's gonna go either number 1 or number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I see
We will
Josh.
get.
Oh, go ahead. I just see Josh Mangold on the win for both of us. Yeah, I was not. I don't know how I scored 230 points. I really wasn't expecting that, but yeah, thanks.
Dude, if you don't know already, backstory. Let's rewind backstory. So we have a
Oh,
fantasy league. Before
man.
the season, we have a fantasy league. I'm Ben's obviously hosting the league. We have guys like Not Travis Sports Kid, Josh Mangold, who's obviously in the chat, and we all are in the league. I was riding mighty and high coming into the playoffs. Sitting at I think 12-3, dominating pretty much everybody. Only lost 3 games throughout the season. Come semifinal time of playing Not Travis Sports Kid, who I've had on the channel before. He dethrones me. Then he goes up against Ben in the
Yeah.
finals.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was
And he
crazy.
goes up against Ben in the finals. And then yesterday I was checking, and he wasn't even favored to win. Ben was like only projected to score like 118, and Sports Kid was projected to score 132. And then he had Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow on his team, and he just
They
popped.
combined
Both those
for
guys just
almost
popped.
100 points.
Dude, you put up 230, bro. That's insane. And he had DK on the bench.
Yeah,
Imagine
and
if
so
you
I would have put
started
up like
DK.
250. Yeah.
Imagine if you started DK, your team would have put up like 250, bro.
I don't know
Easily.
how. Yeah, and this was like standard rules. I think in this league, I think the defense gets a little bit more points, but this was pretty much standard rules. It was pretty crazy. So,
Yep. Well, you definitely balled out. I was definitely surprised
yeah,
about your points that
thanks.
you scored. Who would you want to end up facing in the playoffs once or with the win?
Oh, I don't know. I would honestly say the Bucks. Or the Rams. I mean, we're gonna get yeah, do you want to talk about Rams 49ers like a little backstory? Because I'm gonna say Matthew Stafford has not been doing that good. Now, I don't really want to face them twice in a row because if I don't think we're going to face the Bucks if we beat the Rams. If we beat the Rams, I think we would end up facing the Rams again the next week. But I'm not really scared of the Rams. Like, they're a team that, like, they're good, but I don't know. I would want to play Tom Brady in the Bucks. I don't know why, but I just think they're very banged up, and I don't know. I think it would be a good
No.
game. I
No.
I don't
No,
know.
man. Don't do it.
But, like, I don't
No,
really want to
no,
face
no.
the Rams, and those are, like, the two teams. I don't know. Well, there is still a possibility for the Cardinals, I think, right? Because if we beat the Rams and the Cardinals win, don't they know? Hold on. I was gonna say if the Cardinals win the division, but I don't think I think the Rams have that locked up.
I would not want to play the Buccaneers for whatever reason. I get Antonio Brown walked off, and we'll get into that subject a little bit later. But
Yeah.
playing the Bucks, like one thing that I do not ever want to do is go up in the playoffs against Brady, especially in the first round. No, no, no. I don't care
Yeah,
what
I
the
guess
state
a
is.
rookie quarterback on the road, yeah, that
A
must be
rookie
tough.
quarterback on the road going up against Brady, like Tom Brady versus Trey Lance. Like,
Yeah.
is that even a competition? If Lance put up 23, Brady's putting up like 30, 40. Like Brady even today, right? Without Antonio Brown, obviously he walked off in the third quarter. He still made that comeback. Now I get it, they're the Jets, but they were down and they made that comeback
Yeah.
today. He didn't have Antonio Brown. Mike Evans was limited. He had obviously had that hamstring
Yeah.
injury. Mike Evans was limited. You don't have Godwin. You don't have Fournette. And Brady still, when I get it, it's the Jets. But one thing that I've said in the beginning of the season, I said on your show also,
Yeah.
regular season Brady and playoff Brady are completely two different things. Like you can beat Brady in the regular season. It's
Yeah,
not
right.
impossible beating Brady in the regular season. But come playoff time, Brady, for whatever reason, it's kind of like he flips a switch. And
Right.
Brady's another level in the playoffs. Like you look at last year, I brought it up before. The Saints beat them twice. The Saints beat them this year also twice. But then
Yeah.
come playoff time, last year Drew Brees obviously under center, and the Buccaneers won. Like Brady come
Yeah,
playoff
that's
time,
a good point.
Brady doesn't limits his mistakes, limits the turnovers, and Brady just elevates his game. And he's already playing at a high level. Brady just elevates his game to a higher level in the playoffs. So for
Yeah.
whatever reason, I would not want to go up against Brady in the playoffs. If
So
I
the
would have to
Rams
say
for the
either
second time in a row, I don't know. I mean, like second time in a row, you have more film on the rookie. You can kind of face him the next week. I don't know. That's rough though. I mean, either way, it's rough. I mean,
yeah,
I
I
guess
would
in the
say
standpoint of like all trips across you wouldn't not as much traveling. Time zones same. So I kind of I do agree with you on the Rams thing. I guess now that I think of it, but
I would either say the Rams or I would say the Cowboys.
Cowboys,
Now
yep. Now the
the
Cowboys play
Cowboys,
the
I get
Eagles
it.
next week. I don't know if they'll lose because the
I don't know if
Eagles.
they'll lose or not, but like
Yeah,
obviously we're just assuming that the Niners win on Sunday. But we'll see how good Trey Lance does against the Rams if he does get the start, if he does get the opportunity. But I would say either between the Cowboys or the Rams. The Cowboys, I get it, they have a good pass rush, and people are like, oh, you look at the roster on their team:
yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, obviously Michael Gallup. I think he tore his ACL today, so Michael Gallup, if that is
Oh,
true, he is done. He is not playing through the playoffs, so that's automatically a loss for them, losing Michael Gallup, who's a really underrated receiver in the NFL. But with
yeah.
either between those two teams, like you look at the Cowboys, the only two teams that they've beaten that are in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs are the Patriots, and I forgot who the other two Patriots. I forgot who the other team is. Damn, it's not coming to mind.
Wait. Say that again. What was the thing that you're
The
thinking of?
Cowboys have only beaten two teams with 10 plus. I mean, not the Cowboys have only beaten two teams that are in the playoffs right now. Two playoff teams. I don't know who. I know the Patriots are one of them. I just can't remember who the other one is.
I don't know. Um, Well, like the thing is like the Cowboys, I don't even know if it's really possible for us to play them anymore. Because it would have to mean like I mean, I don't know really what, but I just know that with the whole playoff picture going on to the playoff picture, we basically now with the Saints win, like it puts us in a really rough position. Either the Saints lose to the Falcons, or we don't want to avoid a three-way tie. So like, even though we are better than the Eagles. As much as my brothers don't want to admit, we are better than the Eagles. We are better than the Vikings. But because it would
Mm-hmm.
bring like a three-way tie between the Saints and the Eagles and everything else, we have to basically win next week, which sucks because that's puts us in a rough position. If we lose, I mean, we're almost out. So like next week's, there's
Yeah.
a lot riding on it for the playoff picture. I'm confident that we'll win, but it's just like what a lot of pressure on the rookie. But I mean, you just have to rip the Band-Aid off. This is perfect experience. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be rough, but playoff picture, I'm excited. I think we have a good chance to beat the Rams. The question is, will the Saints, like, if we don't beat the Rams, could the Saints lose to the Falcons? I don't know. The Falcons aren't that good. I'm just surprised the Saints are still in it because I feel like they've kind of sucked all season. But
They pretty
yeah,
much sucked all season. Like the funny thing about the Saints is like if they had to play the Bucks pretty much the whole season, I think they would do fine. But like you beat the Bucks and you guys lose to like the
17 and
Dolphins, or
0.
you guys lose to like the Cowboys. It makes no sense. It's like the Saints are a top tier
Yeah,
team against the Buccaneers, but then against teams like the Dolphins or like other teams around the league, they're like, all right, they're not that great. Or like against the Cowboys, they're just not that good. But when they play the Bucks, they just turn it on and they're like, they bring their A game against the Bucks. But for me, it would either be between the Cowboys or the Rams. If I would meet any of those teams in the
yeah,
playoffs, but it's gonna be really interesting to see, right? Because we're obviously playing the Rams next week. How well we'll be able to do with Trey Lance in the center against a good team, right? Because obviously, a majority of the league thinks the Texans are a joke, even though I think they've
yeah.
done pretty good with the
They
situation that they're
have
in.
talent, unlike the
They
Jets.
have
Like, I think,
talent, but like
go ahead. Go ahead.
people were considering them to be the worst team in football coming into the season. Like people were
Right.
considering to be the worst team. Nobody had faith, but they already have 4 wins, which isn't great, but it isn't bad for how many people are
Yeah.
like, oh, the Texans are done because Deshaun Watson isn't there. They definitely haven't been bad this year, but nobody really takes around the league. Nobody really takes the Texans seriously. The Rams, on the other hand, people take seriously. People People are calling the Rams Super Bowl contenders, especially with the moves that they added OBJ and Von Miller. People think the Rams are legit. So the Rams, if Trey Lance can take care of business against the Rams and we can win against the Rams and Trey Lance plays well, then I wouldn't be afraid of playing the Rams in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, wait, hold on. I'm trying to think what I was going to say before. Um, oh, right. So the Texans, my brother, when I was talking to him before this, and the thing like that with the Texans is they didn't really lose anybody with Deshaun Watson, the whole thing. Like they were almost a playoff team with Deshaun Watson. So like they have talent. I think they're actually like if they have like Davis Mills is playing good, like if he were playing good the whole entire season, they actually have a future. Like, and that organization is terrible. But like the Rams, the Texans aren't that bad team. Like they're not a playoff team, but if I mean they're pretty good. I don't know. Uh yeah,
Yes,
Trey
sir,
area.
Trey area. I've been
Uh
hyping him up all season, so it just felt great to like see him,
yeah.
do well today. Cause I've been hyping him up all season. Like I've been on the trade train. I've been riding
Yeah.
the trade train all season. It's glad to see him playing pretty well, but the real test will be next Sunday against the Rams. That will be the real test. But
Yeah.
let's talk about next Sunday because it's a week away from next Sunday. There's still a week, and for whatever freaking reason, Kyle did not want to announce who the starter would be on Friday, which kind of really frustrated me because I'm like, we all
Yeah.
know Trey is playing. It would be a miracle. It would be a 1 in a million chance that Jimmy would have played this Sunday. 1 in a million chance that
Yeah.
Jimmy would have played this Sunday.
He didn't throw
Like,
a
it would be
single
a
ball.
miracle. It would take a miracle for Jimmy to play this week. Why not just announce it, Kyle? That just doesn't make sense to me. Kyle didn't want to announce it. He didn't announce it. But we knew Trey Lance 95% he was going to start this week. But Kyle did not announce it. And Kyle's still saying Jimmy might have a chance next week. My take on it
Yeah.
before I let you go.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
take on
Yeah, go.
my
Go.
take on this whole who should start moving forward if Jimmy or Trey. Jimmy's not 100%. I think me personally, I get it. I'm a Trey Lance fan. Everybody calls me a Jimmy hater, whatever you want to say. I'd rather have Trey Lance start than Jimmy Garoppolo at 50%. Because Jimmy
Yeah.
Garoppolo's not gonna be 100%. We all know that. Jimmy
And he's going to
Garoppolo's
have
not gonna be,
off-season surgery. So it
and
means
he
it's
needs
pretty
and he
bad.
needs
Yeah.
surgery in the offseason. And like this
Yeah.
whole week he didn't practice. He has some type of tear. I don't need a 50% Jimmy Garoppolo on the field. Like I feel like 100% Trey Lance at 100% is better than Jimmy Garoppolo at 50%. And for me personally, I would start Trey Lance if only because Jimmy Garoppolo's injured right now. Now, if Jimmy Garoppolo was healthy after what I saw today, Trey Lance obviously didn't play bad. But at the same time, do I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo gives us the best chance to win now? Because obviously Trey Lance had that slow start, and for
Yeah.
whatever reason, Kyle lets Kyle gives Jimmy Garoppolo the full keys to the offense. Where with Trey,
Yeah.
you see, you don't have those little dink and dunks. You don't have those screen passes, those checkdowns. You don't have all that little stuff. It's a little bit of a different game plan with Trey under center than it is with Jimmy. And
Yeah.
with Trey and with Kyle, you see when Trey's under center, Kyle doesn't fully let Trey run the offense. He kind of has a little bit of a band-aid on him. Like, it's one of those things where he doesn't let him have full keys to the offense. You see some of the stuff not on the offense. You see some differences when Jimmy's out there and Trey's out there. But for me personally, I would rather have Trey Lance starting at his 100% than I would have Jimmy Garoppolo at 50%.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. At the like Jimmy, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is it would open up everything for the 49ers, and the thing that I think is going to be important is next week the 49ers will be able to rip off the Band-Aid a lot sooner. They're going to be able to pass it a lot sooner. I feel like they were taking the cautious approach in the first half. It wasn't necessarily Trey Lance's fault. It was it was Kyle Shanahan's, they were running the ball a lot. It wasn't really working until they started throwing it a lot more. So you're going to be able to rip off the Band-Aid now that he has more experience. It's a tough opponent to go against. I mean, it is the Rams at the end of the day. It's a tough opponent to go against for your second start. But I feel like you could rip off the Band-Aid a lot faster if you're Kyle Shanahan, and you're gonna have to. I just am there is some concern for like Trey Lance next week because they do have Jalen Ramsey, they do have Aaron Donald, and Jimmy Garoppolo knows them at least. Like, I don't know, Trey Lance, I'm a little bit concerned about that matchup just
Yeah.
because I don't know. It's going to be a little bit dicey, but I don't know if you can run the ball down their throats. I don't know what the Rams are going to bring us. This could be the game where they finally win. I don't know, but I mean, if the defense can do what they did against the Texans, like at least hold them like 17 points. I mean, this defense was pretty good. And Ambry Thomas, whoa, like this man was really good. So it's
He improved. I mean, there was
not
obviously some
really
question.
good, but he was
He
not really
improved,
good.
right? Like
Sorry,
that's the thing.
I've misworded that. Yeah.
I'm glad that he's improving game by game, right? Like I'm glad he's improving. Now, obviously, I wish Lenore would also
Almost
do
had a
that. And
pick
Lenore was
six.
also playing. Obviously, he had that. He should have had that pick six. Okay, that was horrible that he dropped
Yeah,
that.
it was
Okay, like
ridiculous.
you have it right here and you just drop it. Like I'm pretty sure he's learning from Mosley, because Mosley drops everything that's thrown to him, even if it's like right in his hands. Nobody's around him and he just has to catch it. Mosley drops it. I think he's learning from Mosley and taking after Mosley by dropping that pick. But there was two questionable calls in this game. I would say 2 PIs on the Niners.
Yeah.
I think the Texans. I don't know if the Texans capitalized, but there was two questionable calls. Obviously, that Josh Norman PI, which I didn't necessarily think should have been called. I was like, okay, fine, a little bit of contact. I get it. I get it why they called it, but at the same time, it's like it's a little foul. It's not something that he was like fully grabbing onto him. But the biggest issue that I had was with the Dante Johnson. That wasn't a penalty.
Yeah.
That wasn't a penalty. Don't give me that.
Where like he barely touched the dude. It was like
barely
the only
like
reason
touched
why they
his
flagged him is
shoulder.
because he didn't look back. Like that's basically
Like, anyways, that ball was overthrown. It was not like he was holding him or anything like that.
Yeah.
He barely touched the dude, and they called that a PI. That was a dumb PI call, to be honest. That I thought that was I thought they shouldn't have called it. Even that Josh Norman, I thought that was a PI on Brandon Cooks, because Brandon Cooks straight up like threw him to the ground while he was like turned around. I was like, okay, so that's unnecessary roughness or PI on Brandon Cooks, but it was on Josh Norman. But those were definitely two questionable calls. But at the same time, the refs definitely did help us out, because that interception, that should have been a fumble.
Yeah.
No lie.
It was.
That should have been a fumble.
It went both ways.
It definitely went both ways, but that should have been a fumble. No lie. I thought I was like, okay, this is an easy call. The ref shouldn't miss this. He fumbled. What an idiot, Marcel Harris. He fumbled the football, but we got lucky on that one. We got a legend in the chat. It's Shardal. What's up, Shardal?
Hi.
You know the GOAT, a legend, cone phone legend.
Wait, what was
Shardal's
Big Pele Slay here? Hurts is still better. Right now he is, but Trey Lance with experience I think could be much better than Hurts. That's why he got drafted 3rd overall. But yeah, Hurts right now is better. I would agree with that. I would take him right now, but only his second start, So
yep. And the Eagles clinched today. So even if the Eagles lose next week, it doesn't really matter. The Eagles clinched because Sean.
I get so pissed when I think about that. We are better than you guys.
Sean Mannion, he was starting and he only put up 10 points against Aaron Rodgers and that Packers defense. So the Eagles clinched. I mean, I wish it was up to. I wish the Vikings. I wish our playoff scenario was, the Vikings lose and then the Niners get into the playoffs, and then we would have clinched. But obviously that didn't happen. So next week will definitely be an interesting week. Next week the pressure is on for Trey Lance. I'm definitely excited.
What did he say? The second, like the one right after Hurts.
How long is he out for?
Jimmy
surgery.
G. Yeah, basically
he needs surgery. He's trying to push through it, but at the same time, he's not going to be 100%. He needs surgery. He tore his some type of he tore ligament, and then he also has a sprain.
Yeah.
And I think it was a fracture. I don't know exactly. I can't remember, but Jimmy Garoppolo is definitely going to be. I don't think he's going to play next week. I think it's going to be Lance again. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I think the Niners should just put him on IR, because I don't think it's really worth keep letting Jimmy Garoppolo even try, because I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's going to be even ready to go and play on Sunday and lace up, especially against that Rams defense. You do not want him to play against Aaron Donald, now Von Miller,
that's a good point.
You just don't want that. That's not even a good matchup. I'm not saying it's a good matchup for Trey Lance either, but with Jimmy Garoppolo with an injured thumb, that's not a great matchup. That's just not. Well, we got a little thoughts from the Niners and the playoff picture and the Rams upcoming Rams game. So let's talk about something NFL real quick before we
Yeah.
wrap up this show because I know you got to get out of here. Antonio Brown. Let's talk about Antonio Brown real quick, okay? If you haven't heard already, Antonio Brown, let's say third quarter, coming to the end of the third quarter, goes on the sideline, straight up takes off his pads, takes off the jersey, walks off the game in the middle of the game. Brady and them are going on offense, goes on near the touchdown area, puts up his hands like this, starts putting peace signs to the Jets fans, starts throwing his gloves, and he just walks out. And like I heard he was like in an Uber after the game, and he was in an Uber driving in an Uber while the Buccaneers are trying to come back against the Jets. Like what is Antonio Brown doing?
There was also a story that said like the coach said go in one time, and then he said, and the Antonio Brown said no, and then he said go in another time, and Antonio Brown said no, and then he said then get out. The coach Bruce Arians said, and then Antonio Brown said then I'm leaving, and he got really mad. But I mean, I mean, I feel for like I don't feel for him. The stuff that he has done is stupid, but it is generally pretty sad because you can tell with all the Instagram posts that he's made within the last 5 hours. He has issues. The game is football. Football has I mean it's crazy. He was a top receiver in the league. Game of football has really kind of derailed him. I feel for him, but at the same time, like what the the team wouldn't even let him come, like, they wouldn't even let him ride with them, like, get on the plane ride back, like, that's how bad it is, so his career of football is over. What a way to end, though. I mean, what wow. Uh, that's how you end your career? That's kind of embarrassing, so, yeah, I mean, I don't I don't know. It's interesting.
All right.
Interesting
Well,
situation.
let me get my Stephen A. My Stephen A. going on this one. What are you doing, Antonio Brown? What are you doing? Tom Brady recruited you to Tampa Bay. He played with you in New England. He gave you another chance. You've already had way too many chances. You screwed it up with Big Ben in Pittsburgh. You screwed it up with Tom Brady
Yeah,
and New England. Then you screw it up with you screwed up with the Raiders, and then Tom Brady still brought you in. He said, "You know
yeah.
what? I'll give you another chance. I will give you a second opportunity." And what do? First, you have the fake
What do
vaccination
you
card.
do?
You get suspended. And then now, in the middle of the game, you take off your jersey in the middle of the game and you walk off in the middle of the game while
It was
Brady is
hilarious.
conducting on offense.
It was yeah, it was like during the middle of a play. That was hilarious.
Like, what are you doing, Antonio Brown? It's like I don't know what's up with Antonio Brown, if he has some mental issues or what. But like, I really don't understand why Antonio Brown did it. I just really don't understand Antonio Brown. Like, your Antonio Brown is another case of a receiver that is so good on the field, but will not make the Hall of Fame because of off the field issues.
Yeah.
Antonio
Um
Brown is just another situation, another case of that. A really good player on the field, a guy that was a top receiver, a top player in the league at a certain point, and then just
yeah.
off field issues. Letting your ego and your temper and your emotions get the best of you, and you're just not going to be in the Hall of Fame, even though you're great on the field. It's just all the off the field issues. And then today was the final straw. Like, your
Yeah.
second game back, Mike Evans obviously admitted. Chris Godwin, obviously, he's out. Leonard Fournette's obviously out. So now you're the next man up. Now it's your time. You're the
Like
guy.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're the guy that Brady needs. Brady needs you right now. Like, this is your moment. This is your moment to shine. And what do? You have to go out on offense and you just walk out. Antonio
Yeah.
Brown, you are done. You're not playing. This is your. I'm pretty sure this is his last time playing in the NFL.
Yeah, it's
Antonio
definitely.
Brown is straight up a clown. Antonio Brown should not be playing another NFL game ever, ever. Especially what after he did to Brady, because Brady, he gave you another chance, and you took and you just threw it away. You basically took advantage of Brady's kindness. He gave you another chance, and you screwed it up, and you walked out on him. while he was down. Antonio Brown, you should not be playing another NFL game. Ever.
Well, this is why it kind of as it says to the playoff picture. When they had Leonard Fournette, I was generally freaking scared because that man was winning me fantasy games. Like, he was freaking insane. He basically kept me afloat in the playoffs. But anyways, but now, I'm a little bit I'm not really, because yes, it's Tom Brady, but they've had so many people out. They are not the same offense they used to be. They barely got past the Jets today, and we've seen it. They don't have as many weapons as they did in the beginning of the season. If they had Leonard Fournette, I would be, oh, hell no. I do not want to play this dude. But they don't have a really effective running back anymore. I really, I don't know. There's something about them that, I'm not too scared about anymore. And then obviously with the Antonio Brown thing, I mean, he had a presser a week ago, and he was just, talking like he didn't really care about the team. He won his ring, and that's it. It's like he doesn't care. So, it's unfortunate, but, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird situation, bizarre. Yeah. So,
Yeah, well, it's definitely a sad situation. And obviously, I forgot to mention, but obviously, Bruce Arians said after the game, he's no longer a Buck. He's done. Antonio Brown
yeah.
is no longer a Buccaneer. He's probably gonna get cut either tomorrow or this upcoming week. So Antonio Brown, pretty much his career is done in the NFL. I mean, he was really great, but sad to see the way things have come out for Antonio Brown, especially in the last couple of years.
Well, and I mean, the thing with they're not going to repeat. Just do a quick thing in the Buccaneers. They're not going to repeat. I mean, they have so many injuries, and this is why it's so hard to repeat, So many injuries, just things not going right. Leonard Fournette was a game changer. He's out for probably the rest of the season. It's just not going to work. And so, I don't really like the Bucks, but they'll probably do something in the playoffs, but I don't actually consider, the main team I think consider as a threat, Packers and, and the Rams, maybe if they could get, going. They were hot
Mm-hmm.
before this Ravens game. So, but yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think you consider the Bucks like a real threat? You said it before, Brady and everything, but truthfully, if you look at it, do you really consider them a threat now with all these injuries and really not as many weapons as they had?
I get the weapons argument, but I've said it before and I will say it again. You do not want to play
Get out of
Thomas
here.
Edward Patrick Brady Jr. I will say it again. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Wait, that's his name? Really?
Yes, I think that's his name. That's the way Skip Bayless says it. That is one guy that I will never want to play in the playoffs. No matter the circumstance, no matter the situation.
Yeah.
I do not want to play Brady in the playoffs. It is the worst matchup. Especially, I get the injuries, but even that defensive line is ferocious. That team is basically built to beat us, even with the injuries on offense. And Brady's one of those guys that even with the injuries on the offense, they'll still be able to produce. Now, will they be able to produce as well? No, but will they still be able to produce points? Will that limit their offense so much that they can't produce points and can't get the ball down the field? No, because you have a guy like Tom Brady under center, and Tom Brady's one of those guys that is elite, and that's kind of what I feel like separates the guys that are just elite and the guys that are just good.
Yeah,
guys who are elite, like when guys were out,
but truthfully, okay, sorry for interrupting, but when the Patriots year, when he got beaten by the Titans that one year, when the weapons were depleting, you still have to have weapons. Yeah, it's Tom Brady, but I mean, you still have to have weapons. He has done it with great teams. The 1 year that he lost was because he was generally dethroned. But I mean, I guess the defense could definitely hold you afloat. I just don't think they really have a chance to make it to the NFC. Maybe NFC Championship game, but I don't really consider them real contenders. I don't know who's a contender in the NFC, honestly. It's really rough because all of the teams have weaknesses. So sorry for interrupting, but I just have to say that.
It's all good. I will say about that 2019 season though. Brady really wasn't that great that whole season. He was kind of like one of those down seasons for him. It was kind of like a down season for Brady. He only had 24 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Yeah.
Well, this season Brady has 40 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. So Brady has still been dominating and playing at a high elite level. Even today,
but with Chris Godwin.
even with the
So
even with the injuries and Antonio Brown walking out, he still
yeah,
played well. So I do not want to play Brady in the playoffs. And I'm definitely one thing. I'm a huge ESPN guy. I watch ESPN, and one guy that's been still defending Matthew Stafford is Dan Orlovsky. Okay, Dan Orlovsky has still been defending Matthew Stafford, even though Matthew Stafford has been sucking so bad for now. Not one, but not two, but the last 3 weeks he's been sucking, and he's still defending this dude.
he was the one guy. I actually take more stock into his words than Stephen A's because he was the one guy that said the 49ers should draft Trey Lance. He was the one guy that has kind of stuck by like Trey Lance's side, or like one guy that thinks they should start him. I don't know. I mean, I like him a lot. I don't know. I still think I would trust Matthew Stafford. I don't know.
Dan is just loyal, man. No, like Dan. I don't know if you watch ESPN when like Carson Wentz was stinking it up in
Yeah,
Philadelphia
a little
last
bit.
year.
Yeah.
He was stinking it up in Philadelphia. Dan Orlovsky's like, still, the injuries, the situation, da da da. He's just playing as well as he can, and he kept defending Carson Wentz. I'm like, bro, like Carson Wentz sucks right now. He's like getting beat by like the
But
Browns,
truthfully,
leading
it
the league in
wasn't really Carson
interceptions.
Wentz, though. It
Huh?
wasn't Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. You could argue that, no, it was the coach. Doug
It was the
Peterson was
coach, but it was also
yeah.
Carson Wentz thinking it up a
Yeah.
little bit. It wasn't like Carson was
Yeah,
helping
yeah,
the
that's true.
situation. Carson also had some pretty bad plays. You could say it's a mixture of both, but at the same time, Carson also wasn't playing well. But he also is defending Matthew Stafford, and I get it. He played under Matthew Stafford, but I mean, it was an exciting week in the NFL this week. Antonio Brown, his whole situation. Trey Lance, obviously, I was definitely satisfied with his performance. But that basically wraps up the show. I appreciate you for joining me. If you haven't already, go check out Ben's channel, The Camper Report. The link is in the description. Like I said in the beginning of the show, he's a really smart guy. The guy knows his stuff. He knows his sports. Okay, he knows his sports. I can already see a future NFL analyst in the making. Okay, he knows his stuff. So if you haven't already, go check out Ben's channel. Hit him with a sub. It will be greatly appreciated. If you haven't subbed to my channel, please go do so. It will be greatly appreciated. Hit this video with a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will be doing more streams this week. I mean, last week it was kind of like my first week of winter break, so I was kind of chilling, taking it easy a little bit. Was at my cousin's house. But this week, the streams will resume. I will continue to stream. I'll try to put
Wait.
out.
Oh, go. Keep going. I was just
I will
gonna
put
ask you
out the
something.
most content that I can. Any final things before we wrap up the show, Ben?
Wait, I was gonna ask you, didn't you have a winter break the week before?
No, winter break started for me late.
Really? Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, so I still got another week off, which is great.
That's gonna be nice. I have to go
Yes,
back.
sir. That's gonna be nice. I get to watch another week of Niner football before I gotta go back to school.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, it's been a pleasure coming on your phone. Sorry, not your phone, your stream. This has been a lot of fun. I mean, talking about Trey Lance, and there's something to talk about. And before we go, is this more fun watching Trey Lance football or Mac Jones football? That's what I'm going to end it on. Ask yourselves that. So it was a lot of fun coming on the stream. Thank you for having me, Amin. And thank you to all the loyal supporters coming right back at you. You are one of the smartest analysts I've known. And we're both just kids. We're both just kids. So crazy to see. Thank you for having me on. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun in the coming months to see what happens with the 49ers and the franchise.
Yeah.
So
No problem, my guy. Anytime. It was a pleasure to have you on. Before we get out of here, Lakers won today, baby. 19.
I didn't even see that. Yeah.
I know. We're not doing that great, but we gotta celebrate a win when we get one, okay? And
Hey, it's
this year we haven't got that many wins, so it just feels good. Niners won, Lakers won. This was a great Sunday to be a sports fan, especially if you're a Niners and Lakers fan like me and Ben are. I appreciate everybody for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.